Hello, this is Watch It All About with another watch review. In this review we're looking at the latest version of the Otago from Gerlach from Poland. This is obviously the yellow one. Gerlach have been a reasonably recent brand, affordable watch brand. Their watches range from about £200 to around about £300. Obviously they're quite popular amongst the affordable watch community because of their high specs, the fact that they're well made, and obviously the price as well. So let's have a look into the Otago a little bit deeper to see if it is a good watch for the price. So it costs about £220 or $350, which is actually 1,169 Polish zloty, if you want to buy it in Polish currency. The size is 42mm wide by 50mm lug to lug, and then it's got a height of 15mm. So it is a reasonably sized watch. Obviously the shape of the case means it actually looks larger than it is as well, mainly because the lugs don't go in as a normal watch would, but rather the bottom is flat, covering over the edge of the strap. So I believe that's quite a big reason to the fact that it looks quite large whilst wearing it. The weight is 150 grams, so it is a real big beast. That's 150 grams on this silicone strap as well. So I don't know the weight on the stainless steel strap that you can get with it. So no doubt with that it will be even heavier. But it is a testament to the well-made way that it's being constructed. So if I just take it off, I'll have a look at it in closer detail. So first of all, the case. Obviously it is this distinctive 70s barrel style shape, which is quite unusual to see. I do think that it is excellently made and finished for the price. The top and the bottom is all brushed, and then the sides are polished. All the finishing is excellent, and one thing I particularly like is the brushed direction. Rather than going straight up or straight down, it's actually in a starburst outward shape. So no matter what section you look at, you'll notice it's brushed directly outwards, which is really nice to see actually, and quite different to your normal brushed effect. So that's quite nice to see. The polished finish is all spotless, and it's nice to have it on the sides to break up the design a bit as well, because it is quite a aggressive industrial style watch. So having a little bit of a polished element on there softens it up a little bit, which is quite good. So the crown is very much like the rest of the watch, quite industrial, very tool-like as well. We can see that from these gigantic teeth. And one interesting thing to note actually is these sections inside are polished, whereas the rest of the crown is all brushed, which is a really nice element to notice. It is shows that they do give it some close consideration, which is nice. So unscrewing it is a screw-in crown. It's got 200 meters water resist, this watch. Unscrewing it seems to last forever, which is quite reassuring as well. And then you just pull it out once for the date, and then a second time to change the time. So the crown is very well made. The thread is perfect as well, just like the rest of the watch. So so far it's really impressive. Moving on to the bezel. The top of the bezel, the whole bezel in fact, is all brushed stainless steel to match the rest of the top of the case. One thing I particularly like is the grip around it. You see it's shaped like shark fins going in a certain direction, which helps your grip as you turn it anti-clockwise. The markings on the bezel are all engraved and then filled with luminous material. So the execution of this is excellent as well, especially around these numbers, which is very intricate, but it's all done spot on, and the loom is very strong as well, which matches lume on the rest of the watch. So the action is probably the worst thing about the watch. When you turn it, it's a bit uncomfortable and it makes you wince a little bit. It doesn't always make the clicks either. It just seems to bumble its way around really, and also it does go both ways. And I'm not sure if it's supposed to be able to go both ways, so that's something to note. So moving on to the back, the case back is a lovely inscription of the Otago ship with Joseph Conrad's signature, and then around it we have all the specifics of the watch. Everything is really well deeply engraved, screw in as well, obviously for the 200 meters water resistance. But again, on a watch of this price, it's really impressive to see, and it's very, very well engraved, even the most intricate parts. So that's really impressive on a watch that costs this much. So that's good. So moving on to the dial. Obviously it's a yellow dial, but it's not a bright luminous yellow, but rather quite an elegant gold colour, which is quite nice to see. The hands are very thick and match the whole ethos of the watch. And I particularly like the slightly raised outer ring as well, which holds the hour markers, and all the printing is spotless as well. And the date window is within this outer chapter ring as well. One good thing to note is the fact that it has a black date window. Usually affordable watch manufacturers prefer to use a white date window, mainly because it's easier to get and therefore cheaper. But it's good that Gerlach really sought out to get a black one, because it matches the design, and it's good to see that on a watch of this price, because it's not something you see quite often. So the whole dial is perfectly executed, and as you can see, all the elements are polished as well, perfectly applied. Everything lines up spot on, and it's just really high quality for the price. So it is very impressive in that regard. Another interesting thing actually is the sapphire crystal on top is completely flat, and it lines up perfectly with the edge of the bezel. Again, something which is reasonably simple, but it's good to see on a watch that costs this much. The anti-reflective coating is excellent as well. Because the sapphire crystal is flat, you don't get any distortion whatsoever at any angle, and you get excellent visibility thanks to the anti-reflective coating, and the clarity of the crystal is excellent as well. So that's good. So the strap is a silicone strap. It smells like vanilla. It stinks the office out, and when you're wearing it and you move your wrist around, you get a nice whiff of it as well. Which is quite nice. Have Gerlach logo on the bottom there, and then made in Italy on the other side. It's got a lug width of 22 mil, and then it tapers down to 20 mil at the buckle. So the strap has this nice carbon fibre effect and finish to it, pattern on top. Which obviously is usually used on sport watches, so it's quite unusual to see it on a diver's watch. But in this regard, I think it matches it quite well, and it matches the style. Looks good. The buckle itself, I'm a bit disappointed with, because it is only a plain polished steel buckle, almost as if it's been a bit of an afterthought, or the buckle that comes with the strap. Personally, I would have thought that it should be brushed to match the case, and also it would have been nice to see some sort of inscription here, such as Gerlach or their little G logo on it. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, but nothing to be too upset about really. The movement is a Seagull ST25. Seagull are fast becoming one of the favourite movement providers for affordable watches, obviously because they are sturdy movements for the price. And known as workhorse movements. So it runs at 21.6 thousand beats per hour, which equates to 6 ticks per second. It's nice and smooth, and it has a hacking second hand, obviously a date function. Is an automatic, you can hand wind it as well, so all the usual suspects for a pretty standard automatic movement. Okay, so let's put the macro lens on and we'll have a look at it in closer detail. Okay, so starting at the dial, notice all the printing is absolutely crisp and accurate. We have these crosshairs which splits up the dial into quarters nicely.
Okay, I mean, it's not in the moment, but it will be back in about an hour.
And then in the date window we notice the white on black. And the white border is a nice touch as well, it's not just plainly cut out.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he was definitely working on it when I saw him, so yeah.
If we have a look at the
No problem, okay.
white second hand is just a long point as well. And the hour and minute hands are both very well done as well. You can see that there reflecting in the light. Then we have the applied hour markers here. Again, all very well machined and applied. And we can see that the outside ring is this higher level as well, giving a little bit of depth to the dial, which is a good positive. So if we have a look at the bezel now, here's the numbers are all very well machined, considering how small they are, very precise. If we just have a look at the edging as well, here's the shark fin outer teeth, and then the finishing on top. So you can see there is very uniform and nicely done. We have a look at the polished finish on the side now. There we go. Like mirror-like finish. And then here's the crown. The Gerlach logo deeply inscribed on the end, which is good to see. And then if we just flip it over, we'll see the case back. So there you go, there's the ship, nice and deeply and accurately inscribed on the case back as well. And all of these specifics. If we have a look at the strap down, so there's the logo moulded into the strap, which is nice to see. And then if I flip it over, we'll see the carbon fibre finish there as well on top. Okay. So, for £220, do I think it's a good watch? Absolutely. I think it's a fantastically well made watch for the price. Everything about it is very well made. Let me just put it back on my wrist for reference. So I've got a 7.5-inch wrist. One thing I will mention is the fact that it is quite high, so it doesn't fit under cuffs particularly well. So usually you do have to have your cuff up it or pull it right over, and then it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But the colour, I wouldn't say the colour is something to be worried about, because as I mentioned before, it's a nice elegant gold hue, so you don't look like a complete idiot wearing it. So I think it's a very well made watch. Gerlach have proved to be a very popular watch brand because of their excellent construction of watches. So I don't think you can go wrong with it, especially being that you get a 2-year warranty with it. So if you like the look of it, and even if you like the look of it for a casual watch, but even more so if you're after a decent diver's watch, then I would highly recommend it. For the price, it is a truly excellent watch. Okay, so that was the Gerlach Otago, and that's what it's all about.